Welcome to Master Your Money, a channel that empowers you to take control of your finances and unlock your income potential.
All right, let's get right into it. We are going to tackle one of the biggest, most frustrating battles we all face with our money. Why does it feel so ridiculously hard to save for the future? We're going to uncover the hidden science behind our spending habits and, more importantly, a brilliant, ancient strategy to finally win the war for our wallet.
So let's start with a big question, right? You've got good intentions. You know you should be saving more. So why does it feel like your own brain is constantly working against you, just sabotaging your financial goals every chance it gets?
And I want you to hear this loud and clear right up front. If you struggle with this, you can stop blaming yourself. Seriously, this isn't about some personal failing or a lack of willpower. What we're talking about here is a biological feature, a deep-seated instinct that's literally hardwired into our DNA.
To really get this, we first have to look at the world we live in. It is absolutely filled with temptation. Modern life has basically perfected the art of luring us into financial trouble, a lot like the sirens from the ancient myths.
I mean, think about it for a second. We've all been there, right? That gadget we just had to have, that outfit that was on a limited time sale. These are not accidents. The entire world of retail, from those super easy one-click checkouts to constant notifications, is precision engineered to trap you in that tiny moment of intense desire before your rational brain can even boot up.
So, here's where it gets really interesting. Why do those retail tricks work so well on us? Well, the answer lies in a kind of ancient software glitch that's still running in our very modern brains. Let's dig into the science.
Okay, so this glitch has a name. It's called present bias. It's this powerful and frankly kind of sneaky tendency our brain has to dramatically overvalue anything we can get right now, while at the same time massively discounting rewards that are way off in the future. It's the reason a $5 coffee today feels so much more compelling than, say, an extra $1,000 in your retirement account. And this makes so much sense when you think about where we came from. Our brains were forged in a world of immediate survival. I mean, for our hunter-gatherer ancestors, if you found a berry bush, you eat the berries right now. That was it. There was no 401k for mastodon meat. That ancient operating system, the one that screams, now is all that matters, is still running the show. So what you end up with is this constant battle raging inside your head. You've got your present self, who's driven by that ancient, impulsive brain that wants instant gratification. It looks at long-term goals like retirement and just sees a fuzzy, abstract idea. And then there's your future self. That's the person you're actually saving for. But to your brain, that person feels like a total stranger, which makes it super easy to steal from them to pay for a pizza tonight. So, if our brains are basically hardwired to fail at this, how in the world do we fight back? Well, the trick is, you don't fight back. You outsmart it. And we can do that using a powerful strategy that's over 2,000 years old, inspired by a hero from Greek mythology. It's called the Ulysses contract. So the story goes like this. The hero, Ulysses, knew he was about to sail past the island of the Sirens, and he knew their song was so beautiful, so enchanting, that it would make him steer his ship into the rocks. He also knew his future self would be too weak to resist. So he came up with a genius plan. He had his crew plug their ears with beeswax, and then he ordered them to tie him as tight as possible to the ship's mast and to ignore his commands until they were safely past the island. He heard the song, he went crazy, but he survived. And that right there is the core of a Ulysses pact. It's all about pre-commitment. It's a decision you make in a moment of calm, rational thought to bind your future self. You are intentionally limiting your own choices down the road because you know that future version of you is going to be weak and tempted. To put it really simply, it's a promise you make to yourself right now to stop yourself from messing things up later. You're not relying on willpower, because we all know that comes and goes. Instead, you're building a system that makes the right choice the easy choice, or even the only choice. Okay, so this all sounds great in an ancient Greek epic, but how do we actually apply this wisdom to our modern financial lives? Let's talk about some real, practical ways you can tie yourself to the financial mast. We can think of these as 3 modern-day ropes to tie yourself down with. First, and this is a big one, automate your savings. Second, create some simple spending rules. And third, build in some accountability to keep yourself honest. Automation is without a doubt the strongest rope you have. By setting up automatic transfers, say from your checking account to your savings account the day you get paid, you completely remove the decision from the equation. The money is saved before you ever have a chance to see it or spend it. It's a perfect end run around present bias because there's no choice to make in that moment of temptation. Next up, you gotta create some simple, firm rules. A really fantastic example of this is something called the 1% rule. The whole point of this rule is to force a pause, a mandatory cooling off period between that hot emotional impulse to buy something and the actual act of clicking purchase. That little bit of friction is all your rational brain needs to get in the game.
So here's exactly how it works. If any non-essential purchase costs more than 1% of your gross annual income, you have to wait a set amount of time, say 24 hours or even a week, before you're allowed to buy it. So if you make $60,000 a year, that rule kicks in for any fun purchase over $600. You're not saying no forever. You're just forcing a delay to let your logical brain take the wheel.
Now, why should we go through all this trouble to basically trick our own brains? Because the reward for staying tied to that mast, for being consistent, is something close to actual magic. It's the power of compounding. This graph shows it all. That bottom line is just simple savings. It's steady, predictable, but slow. But that top line, that's compound interest. That's where your money starts making its own money. And then that money starts making even more money. It creates this incredible exponential curve that can turn small, consistent contributions into serious wealth over time.
This is maybe the most important mental shift you can make. When you use your system, your Ulysses Pact, to say no to that impulse buy, you are not depriving yourself. You are not losing. You are actually making a purchase. You are actively trading a fleeting moment of pleasure today for something infinitely more valuable, your own freedom tomorrow. And that freedom, it can have a very real, very large number attached to it. A consistent investment of just a few $100s a month can easily snowball into hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a career, all thanks to that incredible power of compounding we just saw. That is the prize. That's what you get for staying the course.
And this quote just brings it all home, doesn't it? At the end of the day, financial success isn't really about being a genius or picking the perfect stock. It's about behavior. It's about having the discipline, the consistency, and the patience to just stick with a good plan. A Ulysses contract is simply a system designed to give you those superpowers, even on the days you feel like you don't have them.
So that really just leaves us with one final question for you to think about. You now know the enemy isn't some external force. It's a glitch in your own brain. And you now know the strategy to outsmart it. So what is the first practical rope you're going to use to start tying yourself to the mast?